Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up for you. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. We're sitting at 220. Let's take a look at the market cap. The market cap for crypto right now, let me refresh this. It's been a minute. We're still under $3 trillion for the cryptocurrency market cap, ladies and gentlemen. 2.96. The market's off 2.4%, but we're usually sitting above 3 trillion, 3.5. So a lot of suppression happening in the market right now. Bitcoin, 85,500. Some would say a blue light special discount at this point. 2,300 for Ethereum. Number 4 spots XRP at 221. Yes, I bought the dip. Yeah, I bought all that scared money this morning. We're up 0.3 on the 24. We're off 18.5 on the 7-day. So I look at it like I bought it at an 18.5% discount. That's the way I look at it. $2.16 on the bottom to 230 is where we're ranging. We'll keep an eye on it. I want to show you this. It's XRP Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, if you haven't gone and checked out the speakers and sponsors, please do it. Take a listen.
Exciting times ahead for the crypto industry and XRP. Now is the time to learn more about the evolution of finance and Web3 at the world's largest XRP conference in Las Vegas, May 30th and 31st, XRP Las Vegas 2025. Hear from industry leaders about the direction of this industry, including emerging yield earning options, custody, tokenization of real-world assets, and more. The journey has been long, and now we can celebrate together at XRP Las Vegas 2025. Get your event tickets and hotel discounts at XRPLasVegas.com. New speakers added to our lineup include Austin King, Omni, Mark Otto, Monorex, Keith Grossman, MoonPay, Dom Kwok, EZA, Matt Hogan, Bitwise, and more. Go to XRPLasVegas.com for additional speaker lineups. Lock in your tickets now. XRP Las Vegas 2025 will be here before you know it.
You better believe it, and tickets are flying off the shelf, ladies and gentlemen. Get yours today. Make the investment in yourself. And I don't mind telling you, Bitcoin has decided to butt their conference up before ours. So they're Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We're Friday, Saturday. So if you plan on coming, think about getting your hotel room. Think about getting your flight. There's going to be a lot of people coming in on that week. Make sure you get your ticket and flights and room booked right there before it's too late. I also want to tell you, you can join the Freedom Zone now directly on YouTube, and so many are. I'm telling you, I put this off for a long time, but a lot of people are like, you know, I'll join if it's right on YouTube because I'm already on YouTube, but you can also join the Patreon link underneath if you click more and you drop down and see all the incredible opportunities there. But click to join. Come on into the Freedom Zone. You won't believe what we're getting into today. Oh, the Hump Island list. It's coming out. And take a look at this. This should be permanent, ladies and gentlemen. And this is based on Mark Cuban put out here. This is so smart. Great job, Ro Khanna. Only change I would make is to not be specific to this term. It should be permanent. He's introduced the Drain the Swamp Act. It will ban White House officials from accepting gifts from lobbyists or becoming lobbyists during the Trump term. I like this. It should be during any term. And Patrick McHenry recently was just announced that he's going over to Andreessen Horowitz. And I agree with John Deaton, who says not only should it be 100% permanent, but we also need to pass a 5-year statutory ban disallowing a regulator from accepting a job at a company that the regulator was in charge of regulating. For example, the chairman of the FDA shouldn't be allowed to resign and shortly thereafter appear at Pfizer's board. Or similarly, SEC Jay Clayton allowed to take a job at Apollo shortly after taking action as chairman of the SEC on an issue that directly benefited Apollo. Or Bill Hinman, the SEC former director of corporate finance, shouldn't be allowed to take a job at A16Z right afterwards It doesn't make any sense. And then you have Patrick McHenry now announcing that he is going to be joining A16 and was in charge of overseeing and regulating companies like A16Z. Because for one, it looks like there is some kind of sweetheart kickback deal. Like was this deal made with all of these people before they left their public position? See, that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem. Now it looks like that they were working out a deal for themselves while they were still on Capitol Hill. And then the speculation is going to be, did you push and suppress things in order to help the actual entity you got a job for? It's not rocket science. Now let's take a look at this real quick about the gold in Fort Knox.
What I think is interesting about this is that
David Sachs, Crypto Czar.
Nobody has said this is a crazy idea to go make sure the gold is actually there. And, just think about that. I mean, I think the gold is probably there. I think the gold is almost certainly there, but nobody thinks it's a crazy idea to go check because we don't know. That's how bad the corruption has gotten in Washington, is that we can't fully trust that our gold is still in Fort Knox. I think the majority of the American people are distrustful, and we've seen that the corruption in Washington is rampant. That is what Doge has exposed.
And you know what? Just let me hop in here, because the reality for me is that there's gold in other places than just Fort Knox as well. So if we're going to audit Fort Knox, let's make sure we send all the auditors to the other locations that gold is supposed to be, so that way we can't have some shucking the gold around to try to make the numbers look right. That's my thought on it. My other thought on it is this. All of this auditing for waste, abuse, and fraud is perfect because it signals to me that they are about to put every aspect of government and traditional finance on the new digital on-chain economies, blockchain, because you don't want to tokenize the fraud, waste, and abuse and put that onto the new payment rails. To me, that's the biggest signal what we're seeing here. And this is exactly what you would do before transitioning to a brand new system. Meanwhile, the SEC, Justin Sun, and 3 of his companies have filed a joint motion in the U.S. federal court to pause the case against crypto entrepreneur to allow the parties to explore potential resolution. I think this also goes hand in hand with the transition of the new administration, which are ending investigations in cases rapidly. And I would expect Ripple to be one of the next. Now, Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy have been accumulating Bitcoin at a breakneck pace. But I want you to listen to what this gentleman believes he's seeing, because he believes MicroStrategy's accumulation of Bitcoin could be a single point of failure for Bitcoin and potentially take down the whole market. Take a listen.
If you really wanted to get long Bitcoin, I like Coinbase because I think it trades cheap relative. And I think MicroStrategy trades really expensive relative. And I also think MicroStrategy has something that Coinbase doesn't have, which is a true single point of failure. Coinbase is an exchange. They make money when people trade. MicroStrategy is a passive long. They make money when they scam people out of money to buy more Bitcoin. And I don't like their model at all. And I think they have a true single point of failure risk, and they could take down the whole crypto market. They are capable of, what stock was it? Well, United Airlines caused the 87 crash, right?
Well, allegedly. That's always been, it coincided with it. I mean, I can't give that to United Airlines.
Okay, well, we'll find, there are certain stocks that have had huge impacts on the overall market, and I can see MicroStrategy having that kind of an impact. Even though it's a relatively tiny stock compared to these trillion-dollar companies, I can see MicroStrategy shaking up the markets, just like United Airlines did in 1987 when it shook up the markets. MicroStrategy scares me.
Well, there you have that. MicroStrategy scares them. And you know what? Maybe this is why, too, I have said this almost every time that I have covered Michael Saylor. I knew this when I asked Grok, but I wanted Grok to pull it up for everyone. Michael Saylor was indeed one of the most significant individual losers during the dot-com bubble. But whether he was the biggest loser depends on how you define biggest. Well, he lost $13 billion. So he's either the biggest loser or one of them, right? Let's let Michael cross the T and dot the I on that one. It isn't good. My point to that is like whether MicroStrategy makes it or not, make sure you understand that we're not Michael Saylor. He's already rich. So if he loses everything with MicroStrategy, he probably is going to be okay. He probably has other things regardless of what he says every day. But maybe not. I don't know. I know he lost $13 billion putting all his eggs in one basket in the dot-com bubble. Did he do the same thing again? I don't know. John Reed Stark says, so this is how the SEC dies. Rapid-fire demolition of the SEC crypto enforcement program continues. The SEC investigations of Uniswap OpenSea officially closed. Both firms had received Wells notices under SEC's Chair Gensler, dropping of the SEC's Ripple appeal next up for sure. Then Jim Hyatt, a longtime OG in this space, says, John, is the Ripple case less likely to be completely dropped due to the large monetary judgment that's already been determined by the judge? How likely is the SEC to just forego $125 million? Great question. He says, thanks, Jim. In my opinion, listen to what he says here. The SEC will never again file a pleading in a court case advocating that any digital asset is a security. That is the reason why a withdrawal of the SEC's Ripple appeal is inevitable. He says, I also believe that the SEC will win the Ripple appeal, and such a victory would be wholly inconsistent with its current crypto ethos. Wow, I tell you, this guy. Jim says, to that end, would they need to file a pleading stating XRP is a security? Couldn't they just drop the appeal and accept the monetary judgment issued by Judge Torres? Or would the simple act of accepting the money fly in the face of the current crypto regime because it was obtained under the previous SEC, which is now viewed as draconian and totally against the current ideals? He says, fair question. My guess is that dropping the appeal will be good enough to continue with the radical turnabout. So that's his thoughts on the matter. And he thinks if the SEC were to go forward, they would win the appeal. Oh, boy. And then we see this yesterday. Stablecoins will be the first on the Senate Banking Committee's crypto-related legislation agenda. And here is Senator Lummis.
Many members of the Senate were still trying to wrap their heads around what is a Bitcoin, what is a digital asset, what is a stable coin, what is a Howey test. And so now we've arrived at the point where we can move forward. We're on the precipice of finally creating a bipartisan legislative framework for both stablecoins and market structure. I hope we can get both pieces of legislation to President Trump for his signature this year.
Me too. And with that being said, let's take a listen here. This is David Schwartz sitting on a panel and Tom Weller talking. And I like what Tom Weller says about moving away from really speculation and seeing real businesses start to work with stablecoins.
Right now, speculation is kind of like the gateway drug into this. But at the end of the day, people are holding stablecoins and are seeing that you can actually do payments. And there's a lot of other financial instruments happening there. And I think that another really cool thing that has happened in this recent bull cycle is that we're seeing a lot more, even the speculative trading happening on-chain in DeFi, and in that universe, stablecoins are a prerequisite, right? So we're getting more and more stablecoins in the hands of people, and hopefully we can move away from speculation and into some more exciting use cases.
No doubt about it. And with that being said, I'm showing you this because we're getting ready to enter March, and they're saying we could have stablecoin legislation by April. Get ready. The numbers are staggering. Matt Hogan from Bitwise, who will be on stage at XRP Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen, along with Stephen McClurg from Canary. Oh, you're not going to want to miss the conversation they're about to have. Stablecoins are going to dominate $44 trillion cross-border retail business-to-business transaction market within the next 5 years. Recent signposts include, as he says, Stripe acquiring Bridge for $1.1 billion, PayPal rolling out PayPal Rails for 20,000 small and mid-sized merchants, Bank of America saying it's launching a stablecoin. We could keep going to real USD, right? There's PayPal saying they're going to expand the adoption of 2025 with a bill payment product, letting 20 million merchants pay suppliers in stable coins. And here's Bank of America. We love it.
Also said that if the Trump administration and lawmakers on Capitol Hill pass stablecoin legislation, Bank of America would go into the business of stablecoins. Now, that's not unlike the comments Moynihan made to CNBC at the World Economic Forum in Davos. Back in January, he said Bank of America and the broader banking industry would embrace crypto for payments if regulators allow it. Next.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what he said right here.
It's pretty clear there's going to be a stable coin, which is going to be a fully dollar-backed, type of thing, which is no different than a money market fund with check access, is no different than a bank account, really. And so,
I know that volume's really low for you, but that's him acknowledging that they want to do it if they'll allow it. And remember this, Nick Burafedo talked with Brad Garlinghouse, and this is what he said.
I'm going to take you through my notes from the day. It's quite loud in here, so I apologize. First thing is, I met with Brad Garlinghouse face-to-face, and Brad was so confident. He's got an air of confidence about him that's unbelievable. I met Brad first in 2019 back in Singapore, and he's even more confident today than he was back then. He made it clear that they're ready to settle with the SEC as long as they can get clarity on XRP. I asked him if American companies were waiting on the sidelines to jump in the game once clarity happens, and he said absolutely. And he specifically said Bank of America. Bank of America is a huge partner of Ripple, and he said Bank of America stands to gain really big when the settlement happens, because they're going to have a huge competitive advantage over their competitors by using ODL in the marketplace. So Brad is very, very bullish. When asked what motivates Brad every day, Brad just said, I want to put a dent in the universe. We've heard that from Naveen Gupta, and Brad has the same philosophy. So that was fantastic. That was my one-on-one with Brad.
And that's amazing right there. That's what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. And we know about David Stravinsky talking about Bank of America with over 83 different patents. Are you kidding me? Oh, I can't wait to see. Meanwhile, Wisdom Tree joins the pile. XRP ETF countdown. They enter another review period, 240-day window by late October. Now, let's add this up for a second here. We got to confirm Paul Atkins in the next couple of months, have some kind of resolution to the Ripple case, hopefully, XRP ETF approvals in waves, and they want to get all the legislation done, tax, stablecoin, and market infrastructure bill for crypto before the August recess. And by the way, Judge Annalisa Torres has oversight over the Ripple case for a 1-year period, which goes until August. And in July 15th, ISO 20022 kicks in, single day implementation. That's what we're looking at. And when I look at this from Dark Defender, he says, hi all, XRP is close to finalizing the ABC correction pattern in the daily time frame. He goes on to say the expected first wave will be towards $3, and our aim will be between $5 and $8, with wave 3 and 5. Important levels for supports and resistance, $1.88, $1.91, resistance at $2.44, $2.99, and $5.85. That's where we're at today. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. We're going into the freedom zone, ladies and gentlemen, and we have a host of things that you need to see today, and you are going to love every single one of them. I hope you will join us. Again, click that button, join on YouTube, or click the links below and join us in the Patreon. You get all your daily videos with 0 Google ads. That's right. You can watch uninterrupted, and all the extra content like what we're getting ready to jump into right now. All right, welcome back. Let's do this.